I was thinking about how most of us want more willpower. We want to be
Oh
able to
my
say
god.
no to the things we know we should and be doing and yes to the things we know we should be doing. But we struggle with this all the time, and I was thinking about why is that? Why is it so difficult to get the willpower we want? And then I had an epiphany. You don't find the willpower, you create it. Let me explain. So often we think of willpower like we're looking for it in our lives, like it's something that we're gonna find or discover. We'll get more willpower once we have kids, once we don't have kids, once we're at a certain age, once we've reached a certain milestone. And if we just do a certain thing, we'll have more willpower. But that's not really how willpower works. Willpower is something that we build. It's like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets. And the more we try to flex it, the stronger it gets. And what happens is, when we go periods of time where we're not flexing that willpower muscle, it gets weaker. It gets harder to flex. So one of the biggest problems with willpower is we think of it as this finite resource, that we only have so much of it. And if we spend it all in one area of our life, we can't spend any in another area of our life. Like, we've all been there before, where we've gone to work and we've spent some willpower early in the morning getting ourselves to go to work, getting ourselves to start working. And then we come home and we really want to spend time with our loved ones, but we're tired. So, we spend no willpower with our loved ones. We just kind of veg out and zone out in front of them. Or, you've been to work and you have spent very much willpower getting yourself to work. But then you come home and you're like, I have this project that I want to work on. I have this thing I want to do. I want to learn this skill. I want to read that book. And you want to do these things, but you just can't. Your willpower's depleted because you didn't really spend that much willpower at work. But what if instead of thinking of willpower as this finite resource that we can spend in different areas of our lives? What if we thought of willpower like a muscle that we flex in different areas of our lives? Because what happens is, when we think of willpower like a muscle, we realize we can flex it in many different ways. We can flex it in our relationships, we can flex it in our fitness goals, we can flex it in our finances, we can flex it in our career, we can flex it in whatever area of our life we want. But what happens is we start to see that willpower as this malleable thing. It's not this thing that we find. It's this thing that we create. It's this thing that we build over time. And so, when we think of willpower as something we create, as something we build over time, it gives us hope. Hope that even if we don't have much willpower right now, we can build it, we can get better at it, we can improve it. And it also helps us to be a little bit more forgiving with ourselves because we realize that everybody has bad days. Everybody has times where their willpower is low. And that's okay, that's part of being human. But the more we practice showing up, the more we practice flexing that willpower muscle, the stronger it gets. Now, I am not saying that there aren't genetic factors that play into our ability to flex our willpower muscle. Of course there are. There are probably some people that are predisposed to having more willpower than other people. Just like there are some people who are predisposed to be taller or shorter, fatter or thinner, smarter or less smart. But regardless of where we start, regardless of what our genetics are telling us, we can still build willpower. We can still get better at flexing that muscle. And the way we do that is through two key behaviors. The first behavior is commitment. Commitment is a decision that we make ahead of time that says when the time comes where I need to exercise my willpower, I will exercise my willpower. Now, this doesn't mean that we never give ourselves permission to be lazy. This doesn't mean that we never give ourselves permission to watch Netflix and eat junk food. It means that we decide ahead of time that when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, when we really need to exert that willpower, we will exert that willpower. The second way that we build willpower is by getting small wins early and often. Small wins are actions that move us in the direction of what we want to move. They are small steps that we take every day that help us to get closer and closer to our goal. For example, if one of our goals is to eat healthier, A small win could be eating one serving of vegetables every day. Maybe we start out by just eating one vegetable per day, but we do that every single day. Eventually, that becomes a habit. Eventually, we get good at it. And then we can add on more servings of vegetables each day. We can add on more healthy foods until eventually, it's not even a conscious effort anymore. It's just something that we do. We don't even think about it. Similarly, if one of our goals is to get in shape, one of our small wins might be going on a 10-minute jog 3 times per week. Maybe we start out just jogging for 5 minutes 3 times per week, but we do that every single week. Eventually, that becomes a habit. Eventually, we get good at it. And then we can extend it to 10 minutes 3 times per week. Maybe eventually, we get a personal best of jogging for 30 minutes straight 7 days per week. But the point is, it's those small wins that move us in the direction of our big goal. And so, when we focus on getting those small wins early and often, what ends up happening is we start to see progress towards our goals. And that progress motivates us. It gives us the energy, the enthusiasm, the passion to keep going. It makes us believe in ourselves. It makes us believe that we can reach our goals. And that belief in ourselves gives us the energy and the motivation to keep going. Willpower doesn't create motivation. Motivation is a byproduct of willpower. In other words, when we exert our willpower, when we do the things we know we should be doing, even though we don't feel like it, eventually, that leads to motivation. And that motivation makes it easier for us to keep going. One of the most important things to remember is that we don't find the willpower, we create it. You don't find the willpower to go on that diet. You create the willpower by deciding that you're going to eat one serving of vegetables every day. You create the willpower to go on that diet by actually going on the diet. You create the willpower to stick to your workout plan by sticking to your workout plan. I hope that gives you permission to not have all the willpower in the world right now. It's okay if you don't have tons of willpower right now. If you want more willpower, if you want to build more willpower, if you want to get better at flexing that willpower muscle, you can. And the way that you do that is through commitment and through getting small wins early and often. If you found this helpful, please like and share. And if you'd like to ask me a question, please leave it in the comments below. I do read all of the comments and I respond to every single one that I can. Thanks for watching. See you soon.